This ABC 11 special is sponsored by the Durham Performing Arts Center. ABC 11 and DPAC proudly present SunTrust's Magic of Broadway 2019-2020 season. Here's your host, Angela Hampton.
Hello from New York City. We're here to announce the shows in SunTrust's Magic of Broadway season at DPAC. The lineup includes Tony Award winners and brand new national tours. Kicking off the season is the Disney blockbuster Aladdin, and it's coming to DPAC for 4 weeks. Disney's Aladdin is a Tony Award-winning musical based on the blockbuster animated movie from 1992. It's the classic tale of a poor young man who is granted 3 wishes by a genie to win over a princess and fight a villain. It's brought to life on stage with jaw-dropping special effects, brand new songs, and spectacular costumes. We got a look backstage at the Broadway production.
There are 337 costumes on stage in Aladdin. And there's one song, I won't tell you which one, but there are 80 costumes just in that one song. So it's a lot. Like, you are hit with an amazing spectacle.
Sky Switzer is the associate costume designer for Aladdin.
Every single thing in the show is custom made by hand, even the earrings. You know, you can't find them anyplace else. It's all just made so that when you come to see Aladdin, you're really seeing a one-of-a-kind, work of art place that doesn't exist anywhere else.
Bling is a big deal in Aladdin. Check out Princess Jasmine's wedding outfit.
It's pretty heavy. I think it weighs about 22 pounds. We tried to weigh it one time. It's covered in crystals, Swarovski crystals. And again, like under here, there's a surprise layer that's hand painted. And then this is all beaded by hand.
And in the crowd-pleasing number, Friend Like Me, the dancers wear suits with more than 8,000 crystals each, 3,000 on the pants alone.
It's like fireworks. When they come out, it's amazing.
Complementing the fabulous costumes is an outstanding score. Aladdin features all 5 songs from the original movie, along with songs that didn't make the film and brand new tunes written just for the stage.
Even if you've seen the film a million times, what's really cool about the musical is that there's a lot of new songs that were cut from the movie and then songs that were written originally for the musical. And I think that what those songs do is really sort of bring out this story of Aladdin.
With a great story, Disney stagecraft, and a show-stopping genie, Aladdin the musical delivers a whole new world of live entertainment. Disney's Aladdin comes to DPAC this fall, October 2nd through the 26th. Critics call the next show in DPAC's new season a little slice of paradise. It's Jimmy Buffett's Escape to Margaritaville. It's one of those songs just about everyone seems to know. Jimmy Buffett's ode to a lifestyle of island escapism. Now this fan favorite is the launching point for a new Broadway musical.
It is Jimmy Buffett music, but it is also a really fun, bright, colorful, exciting, super choreographed show. It's about Tully, who is a super talented musician, just sort of floating along in this very easy life. He meets Rachel, who is super, super motivated, has grand plans, but forgets to take any time off. They connect and sparks fly, and lives are changed. So there is a beginning, a middle, an end, and a true musical in the idea of spectacle, right? What you expect from a Broadway musical, all those pieces are there too. So I can't really imagine anyone wouldn't have a great time at Escape to Margaritaville.
You can escape to Margaritaville at DPAC, April 28th through May 3rd of 2020. Wouldn't it be lovely to see My Fair Lady?
I could have danced all night. I could have danced all night.
Critics say the new production of My Fair Lady is a sumptuous, thrilling new revival of one of the most perfect musicals of all time.
It's a very lavish, extremely big physical production with like quite a large cast and quite all that sort of stuff that you come to expect from big musicals.
My Fair Lady is based on George Bernard Shaw's play Pygmalion. Its first run on Broadway in 1956 was a huge success and was followed by a popular film and many revivals.
It's the story of a flower seller named Eliza Doolittle who is engaged by a eccentric, brilliant phoneticist, or a person who's obsessed with language, to transform her language make her into a lady.
As Professor Henry Higgins puts Eliza through her paces, audiences may wonder who is really being transformed. Meanwhile, the music will take theater lovers to show tune heaven.
It was composed and written by Lerner and Lowe, one of the famous Broadway teams. I Could Have Danced All Night, Loverly. They're just so beautiful and moving. Get Me to the Church on Time, things like that. And almost all of them audiences know. Even if they don't know that they know them, they still know them.
Critics say the revival of My Fair Lady is a reminder of how indispensable great theater can be.
It's a very special, beloved, extraordinary musical.
My Fair Lady comes to DPAC May 19th through the 24th of 2020. The next revival coming to DPAC inspired a revolution 50 years ago. Get ready for a brand new production of Jesus Christ Superstar. Jesus Christ Superstar is back better than ever to mark this iconic show's 50th anniversary. With music and lyrics by Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony winners Lord Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice, this London production has a worldwide fan base.
Superstar won Album of the Year during the heyday of what we now consider classic rock. That's why it's significant. Why is this production significant? Because it goes back to that album. It's a killer rock album. But on the other side, it's a very dramatic story.
The story is set in the final weeks of the life of Jesus Christ and is told through the eyes of Judas. It focuses on the relationship triangle between Jesus and Judas and Mary Magdalene and is a tale of betrayal.
Jesus, I'm with you. Touch me, Jesus. Jesus, I'm on your side. Kiss me, Jesus.
Lord, thy will be done.
Producers say this adrenaline-pumping revival pays tribute to the original musical, but also creates a modern theatrical world that is fresh and inspiring. Critics say this is not your grandmother's Superstar, but an almighty revelation for fans and brand new audiences alike.
I think we're going to see more people in the seats, not just Broadway theatrical people, but people who love music. And that goes to a younger generation.
Bleed me, beat me, kill me. Take me now, before I change my mind.
You can see Jesus Christ Superstar at DPAC June 2nd through the 7th of 2020. This season features some of Broadway's biggest new hits, but watch your back. Mean Girls is coming to DPAC.
Now that's a party.
A revenge party, a party that ends with somebody's head on a spike.
Critics say Mean Girls the musical is fast-paced, wickedly funny, and super cool. It's based on the popular 2004 film by Tina Fey.
It's about this young girl named Katie Heron who sort of steps out of Africa where she's been growing up and enters Chicago high school for the first time. And she's a complete noob and she's trying to figure out the ropes and finds herself in a bit of a war with the popular girls.
The popular girls are led by one particularly mean girl who seems to rule the school. Meanwhile, the unpopular kids turn out to be pretty mean too, and Katie learns firsthand about the damage social cliques can do, especially in the age of social media.
It's been 15, 16 years since the movie originally came out, a lot has changed. Social media, and we found a lot more ways of bullying each other.
How to slap someone down with our underhands.
What I love about the musical is that it's funny and smart, and it's not just trying to retread the movie, it's trying to bring something new to the table.
Everybody wants connection. Yes, I know they have their friends, but what is one friend more?
Mean Girls does not disappoint. The music and dancing are high energy and at times even edgy. And there's a little bit of everything.
We have our absolute Broadway numbers, we have more pop influence numbers, we have numbers that are influenced by being in Kenya and having that sort of feel to them. So but none of it is just sort of parody. It's very original and it's melodic and beautiful.
She has everything. She gets everything. Regina.
And the musical, like the movie, has a message.
Inevitably, it's about how you treat each other, and that your authentic self can be someone who is kind and gives back to others.
I think it's very real, and the response we've gotten from young women has been that they understand what we're saying, and they were in the movie, and we've taken it even one step beyond the movie to say that it's not just that girls are always cruel to one another, it's why they are and how they can fix it.
Clearly, Mean Girls draws a largely female audience. However, it's not only for young ladies.
And I'm a 26-year-old man, and I love the show. I think it's hysterical, and it's because it's high school. It's something that everybody has been through. It's just going to be really fetch, and you should show up. That's really all I have to say.
Fetch. Yes, fetch.
Welcome to North Shore High.
You'll get it when you see Mean Girls, February 11th through the 16th of 2020.
From Mean Girls to Wise Guys, critics call the next show in DPAC's new season a real crowd pleaser. It's a Bronx Tale.
A Bronx Tale is about a young boy named Calogero, which is my real name. My real name is Calogero Lorenzo Palminteri. I was born in the Bronx, and it's really based on my life.
You know him as an actor, but Chaz Palminteri is also a writer and director, and A Bronx Tale tells the story of how witnessing a gangster's crime shaped his life.
The cops wanted me to identify the guy who pulled the trigger, and I said I didn't see anything.
The bad guy, a mob boss, becomes a mentor.
It was not like he wanted me to be a bad guy. He gave the same advice to me as my father did. Exactly the same. Stay in school, go to college, make something out of yourself. Don't be like these losers in the neighborhood. My father didn't want me to hang out with those people because he said, in the end, you will be influenced by them, and just being around them, you can get into trouble, which he was right.
Critics say A Bronx Tale is a streetwise musical. Jersey Boys meets West Side Story.
It's more than just a father. It's a symbol of goodness. And Sonny, the bad guy, is not a bad guy. He's a symbol of how sometimes it's so hard to see evil, even though Sonny was a bad guy. But for me, he was a good guy.
A Bronx Tale comes to DPAC November 5th through the 10th.
DPAC brings you the best of Broadway. This season, a show that won 10 Tonys, The Band's Visit.
Once, not long ago, a group of musicians came to Israel from Egypt. You probably didn't hear about it. It wasn't very important.
It's become one of the most celebrated musicals ever. The Band's Visit, about unforgettable strangers who come together.
Is this a hymn? Is this a love song?
The story is an Egyptian police orchestra goes to Israel to give a concert. But because of a miscommunication at the bus station, instead of going to the sort of large Israeli city they're supposed to go to for the opening ceremony of an Arab cultural center, they end up in this tiny town in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere.
The band members are basically stranded in a small town until the next day. So the Israeli townspeople take them in for the night.
And that's it. That's the whole story. It's just about what sort of transpires over the course of this one night in the desert between these Israeli villagers and these Egyptian musicians.
What transpires seems very subtle and small, but leads to huge emotional changes in everyone.
I guess the best way to describe it is that these are people in both groups who are stuck in their lives. Be it because they think they have a lost love in their past and they think they're too old to find love again, or they're young and they don't know if they ever will find it, or everything in between. And something about these encounters with these people from this other culture, for everyone, kind of unsticks them all a little.
The music has a Middle Eastern flavor.
Even just some of the instrumentation, you know, the oud, certain like types of tuning on a violin, things that we've never heard on a Broadway stage before, so it's pretty exciting.
The band's visit celebrates how simple things like music and laughter can connect people.
You know what, General? You can stay here with us tonight if you want to.
No, no. You have done too much already.
Okay.
I think that, especially now, we're at a moment in our culture where people are hungry for stories about connections across divides, connections across borders. The idea that we can welcome strangers and learn from them as opposed to fear them and shut them out. I think the show happened to arrive at a moment when that was something people wanted to see.
Critics call it a masterpiece of small but powerful moments and promise you'll leave with your senses tingling.
If you sort of come to it and allow it to do its work on you, I think that it can leave people with their heart a little bit more open, which I think is always a good thing.
Get ready to open your heart to the band's visit. It comes to DPAC April 7th through the 12th of 2020.
Finally, DPAC is proud to bring you another Tony Award-winning show, Come From Away. Critics say Come From Away takes you to a place you never want to leave. It's the remarkable true story of what happened the week after 9/11, when U.S. airspace was closed and 38 planes and thousands of passengers were diverted to a small town off the coast of Canada.
All of the people in this community in Newfoundland not only welcomed them off the planes, but welcomed them back to their churches and their basements, and then brought them back to their homes, made them dinner, washed their clothes, and then let them stay over. And what started with 7,000 strangers landing on their doorstep became 7,000 family members by the end. They made lifelong friendships.
David Hine and Irene Sankoff are the married writing team behind Come From Away. They traveled to the Canadian town on the 10th anniversary of 9/11 and couldn't wait to share the stories they'd heard in this breathtaking new musical.
This isn't a 9/11 story, this is a 9/12 story. This is about how a small town responded to a tragedy. So we didn't want to tell a story about what happened here, we wanted to tell a story about this place that we fell in love with, that responded with kindness and warmth and generosity and bravery on a day that was so scary and so frightening.
Come From Away won a Tony Award and was nominated for 7 more, including Best Musical and Best Original Score. And traditional music is a very important part of this story.
You can't tell a story about Newfoundland without including the music. It's in the DNA of the people out there. And it's comprised of musicians that you don't normally see on a Broadway stage. So there's a bowron, there's something called an ugly stick, which is a mop screwed into a boot and is actually quite sophisticated once you get into the bottle caps and the ridges and the spinning and the hitting.
Heave away, me jollies, heave away. And if we do return to you, we'll make your cradles rock.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's fiddles, accordions. It's nothing that you've ever seen on a Broadway stage before, and it's this traditional music that they've been playing forever. It sounds Celtic, it sounds Irish, it sounds it's folk, but it's the way that they've survived on living on this rock in the ocean with these terrible winters. Is everyone plays an instrument, and in the middle of the winter they will all go over to each other's kitchens and bring their instruments and sing songs and tell stories. And so we wanted to do a kitchen party on stage and bring the audience into that.
Audiences and critics alike find Come From Away to be a cathartic reminder of the capacity of human kindness. It's an emotional ride. Expect tears, but lots of laughter too. and you just may leave with the hope that humanity can triumph over hate.
It doesn't matter how old you are, where you come from around the world. There's something about responding with kindness and coming together that I think is a story we can all use right now.
You can see Come From Away at DPAC January 14th through the 19th of 2020. Here's one more look at SunTrust's Magic of Broadway season at DPAC. Disney's Aladdin, A Bronx Tale, Come From Away, Mean Girls, The Band's Visit, Escape to Margaritaville, My Fair Lady, and Jesus Christ Superstar.
Thanks for watching The Magic of Broadway. I'm Angela Hampton, and I'll see you soon at DPAC.
This ABC 11 special was sponsored by the Durham Performing Arts Center.